The Six Nations has finished for 2025 and it's been a fantastic tournament. Some teams have risen and some have fallen. And likewise, the same has happened with players. Some new players have come through and have shone, and some players have had sort of redemptions in their careers and how people view them. But at the same time, a few players might have actually lost value, or that the stock has fallen after some of the performances they've put in the Six Nations. I want to do my own team of the tournament. I want you to tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me who you would have in place of mine. And I should just add here that I am also going to be choosing my player of the tournament after I've gone through all of my teams. So stick around towards the end of the video and I will say who I think has been the player of the tournament in the Six Nations 2025. But let's get straight into this right now. And we have to start at the front row. Because if you're not starting at the front row, there's something wrong with you. So I'm going to start with my prop, first of all, my loose head prop. And I am going to go for, first of all, Jean-Baptiste Gros, the French prop. I was very sceptical when they dropped Cyril Baille. I know he's such a fantastic player. I think he, for example, in that 2023 quarters final against South Africa, he scored 2 tries. He was phenomenal in that game. He's been phenomenal for 2 or 3 years, plays for Toulouse, the best team in club rugby in the world. Yet they've gone with Jean-Baptiste Gros. Galtier went Jean-Baptiste Gros. And I am as well now because, wow, he really impressed me. He can do it all, can't he? He's great defensively. He gets around the park. He can play like 70, 80 minutes, which most props can. Most props can these days. But, you know, he was really impressive for someone that I don't really watch him in the top 14 much. So I really was impressed. And, you know, his handling was really good. He gets involved in the sort of running plays which the French do, and he gets involved sort of playing those out the back passes, being a dummy runner. I thought it was fantastic. I was really impressed watching him. Who would be close to also becoming in my team of the tournament for loose head prop? Maybe Ellis Genge, he was quite good. You'd be looking at like Schoeman maybe. I wouldn't say Andrew Porter was his best this year. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Jean-Baptiste Gros. I thought it was great. My other prop for the tight head position is going to be Will Stewart. I would not be thinking that before the start of the tournament. Actually, I would be half thinking it because he was really, really good, I thought, in the Autumn Nation series for England. And he's been very good for Bath this year, although he does share the role with the likes of Thomas du Toit, who is world class. But yeah, Will Stewart I thought was fantastic this Six Nations. Winnie Antonio, also good as usual. The Irish kind of swapped between Bealham and Clarkson, so I didn't think either of them quite got in as player of the tournament in that position. Bealham was good when he played. So yeah, Zander Fagerson, good as usual, but I just thought Will Stewart really stood out. And he sort of had the last 6 months, he's really come of age. And you know what? I've met a few rugby players just after games, not like socialising, but they'll come round and sign autographs and that sort of thing. And I've stood next to a lot of big players and I thought, meh, you're about as big as I expected, or you're even like a bit smaller than I thought. Jesus Christ, Will Stewart is massive. He is absolutely, he was the person I was most like, oh my God, you are huge next to me. And I looked like a little child next to him, I swear. He was just solid. And it's great to see him really like hitting that form now, which he has the potential of his size and his agility. We've all seen that step in the Italian game. So yeah, Will Stewart, great to see him thriving, especially as an England fan. So he's going to go in my team of the tournament for the 2025 Six Nations at tight head prop. And at hooker, I'm sorry, let's just get straight into it. It is Dan Sheehan. He has been once again outrageously good. The try-scoring machine with a hat-trick against Italy. For me, no one else has come close in the tournament. Mavaka, not as impressive as he was last year in the Six Nations for France. Cowan-Dickie being good. He's always good around the park. Probably the best tackle of the Six Nations, that one on Blair Murray in round 5. But his line-out throws was slightly off, and it's just Dan Sheehan, isn't it? Dan Sheehan is an incredible player. Dave Cherry, I think I just want to give him some praise because I think a lot of people were sort of, especially Scottish fans, questioning Gregor Townsend after not picking Johnny Matthews. And you can still do that. You can still do that. He's a fantastic player, Johnny Matthews. But Dave Cherry, I think, has really risen to the occasion and outperformed a lot of people's expectations of him. So props to him, or hookers to him. But, oh, that was terrible. But anyway, I think Dan Sheehan, yeah, best hooker in the tournament for me, and he was phenomenal. into the locks, and for me there is one outstanding player in the lock position, and then there's an open position for seconds. The first one is most definitely Maro Itoje. Played every single minute of the Six Nations this year, England's captain, and he led by example every single game. He was brilliant every single game. What more is there to say? He was getting turnovers when Finn Russell wasn't diving off his feet in front of him. He was making big tackles, making line breaks, good offloads. He is just a true English rugby legend, just an English legend. And he's a great man as well. He's a great guy, but just the way he leads England on a rugby field, he does calm people down as well, which is good. Maro Itoje definitely in the first lock position in my team of the tournament. Second lock position though for me is way more open. I don't think any of the Irish locks had their best tournament. I do believe Tadhg Beirne has been the best lock in the world for the last year or two, ahead of like sort of Itoje and Etzebeth or Barrett or whoever else you can think of. I think he's been the best, but he hasn't stood out for me this tournament. McCarthy and Ryan, no, not for me. For me, it's between Dafydd Jenkins or like a Flamont or a Guillard, or however you say that. I'm going to go for Dafydd Jenkins because he's played, if I'm correct, 4 games out of 5 for Wales, and he gets a ton of tackles every game. He's a young leader. He got a bit fired up in that England-Wales game. He needs to calm down slightly. Don't get rattled by the likes of some of the English players in his face. But he still did a lot for Wales for me. Guillard and Flamont were just swapping too much the likes of Rumat and Meafu, and they were doing 7-1 splits and coming off early, and they showed glimpses, but I don't think either of those two players really solidified being in the team of the tournament for me. So for me, I am going for, who did I say? That guy. The name's Dafydd Jenkins. So yeah. And into the back row, and I'm going to cheat here because none of the 7s coming to my mind are really standing out. So I'm going to go with 2 blindside flankers, whatever it is, number 6s. Francois Cross has to be one. I think he's been very good. He's been going under the radar, I think, for France for a number of years, but he is just getting through all the dirty work. He can play all the 80 minutes if needed. It's usually him or one of the back row in the French team in that 7-1 split. He has been really good this tournament, I think, and he's not really got all the praise I think he deserves. And the other one, it has to be Tom Curry. Tom Curry has had the tournament, not of his life, but of 5 years, because he has not found this form for a long time, and that's because of injury, not because he's a bad player. When he does, he looks like he's going to show signs of finding this form, but he's just finally had the run of games at sort of international level where he's finally, become the player he once was, and it's phenomenal to see. I love it to see. It's going to be 2019 England vibes. Tom Curry was robbed of Player of the Year that year. But Tom Curry has to be in this team. One of the best players in the Six Nations, maybe the best. We'll get onto that in a bit. And in my number 8 position, I'm going to go for another Frenchman. I'm going to choose Gregory Alldritt. I just think he's been, again, really good. I see man of the match in that first game against Wales. But even throughout the whole tournament, I just feel like he's been the most consistent number 8. We've had Tom Willis swapping in with Ben Earl at 8. He's been good when he's played Tom Willis, but I think Gregory Alldritt's just been a bit more consistently playing. Canone had a couple of good games and he was out for a couple. Wainwright, Faletau, all swapping. It's difficult. Doris, I think, is the best 8 in the world, but for me, he has not stood up to his normal standards this tournament, so I'm not going to go with Caelan Doris. I could go for a Scottish back row. I haven't mentioned likes of Jamie Ritchie, Rory Darge, Fagerson, all been quite good. Jamie Ritchie was very close to beating Francois Cross for me in my sort of flanker role, but I'm just going to stick with Cross and Curry and Alldritt at 8. I just realised when I was talking about Gregory Alldritt, I missed out a flanker forward position potentially. Jack Morgan, I didn't even talk about him. Jack Morgan has been really good for Wales this tournament, probably their best player. However, I still don't think he's quite put in the performances, all-rounded performances, to beat the likes of Tom Curry and Francois Cross. I mean, of course, he's playing in a lot worse team. I do get that, and I feel harsh not putting him in. But I just think these two have been better. It does help the teams are playing, but I'm sticking with them. I'm sorry, Welsh fans. Don't hate me. And at scrum half, I'm going to go for Jamison Gibson Park. I think I'm just going to get straight out there. It's not Dupont. It's Gibson Park for me. He got 2 Man of the Match awards in the first 3 Ireland games. He should have got the Man of the Match in the second Ireland game. They gave it to Sam Prendergast. Joke. But anyway, Gibson Park was really, really good the first 3 matches. Yes, he kind of dropped off a bit in the last 2, but I still think the performances in the first 3 warranted him getting this sort of role in my team. My team means nothing, but, thanks for watching. He I think was really good. Dupont obviously got injured in that 4th game as well, so he didn't really play the whole tournament. He also wasn't that outstanding in the first 3 games. He was very good, but Gibson Park for me was still better. And none of the other 9s I don't think really stood and said they were better than Gibson Park. So yeah, I've gone for Jamieson Gibson Park in my 9. Now for 10, this is a really difficult one. A lot of 10's got a consistent run of games here. Anscombe coming in, played really well for Wales. Garbisi's played every game. Huntemax played every game. Finn Russell's played every game. So there's lots of 10's in the running. But I'm sorry. I have to do it. Finn Smith. I have been calling for this guy, if you've been following my TikToks for the last 6 months, to get more game time for England. Actually, before I even did TikTok, I've been calling for this guy to get game time for England a year ago. I just give him a start against Italy or Wales last Six Nations, and Steve Borthwick didn't do it. Gave him 20 minutes against Scotland, which isn't enough time to really bed in properly. And I think he's been thrown into the deep end this tournament against France, and it was perfect. It's perfect because if you've been watching for Northampton Saints in the Champions Cup or the Premiership, you will know he can handle these big games. He thrives on these big games at times, and he was so good, especially that second half against France. And he's really reliable defensively. He gets a ton of tackles, doesn't really miss too many. So yeah, his goal kicking was superb. He brings other players into the game. He built really nice connections with the likes of Dingwall, or I know he plays with him for Northampton. He linked up well with Dingwall. He linked up well with Slade when he was playing. I just think he was really impressive for 22 years old or whatever, starting in some of those big games. If you started against Ireland, we would have won. But there we go. No, I'm going for Finn Smith as my fly half. Great performance from the guy. Now we probably get into the most difficult position. I'm going to start off with inside centre. Maybe outside centre is more difficult, but these 2 are really difficult. Bundyaki, immediately a contender for this position. Tom Jordan, a contender for this position. And last year's Six Nations Player of the Tournament, Tommaso Menoncello, definitely a contender for this position. And it's just really hard. Tom Jordan has been performing really well, and he's kind of out of position. He usually plays 10 or 15 up in Glasgow. So, it's not like he's usually at 12, and he's filling in for Sion Tuipulotu, a lot of people's opinion as the best 12 in the world right now, or up there. So to fill his boots is really impressive, and he's done it very well. I've been really impressed with Tom Jordan in this tournament, and Bristol Bears have signed him. What a signing that is for them. Bundyaki is always a class. He's a class act. He came on a couple of games and changed the game. I think the Czech game got a lot worse for Ireland when he came off against France. He's just proven world class. He proves it every single year, and he's just brilliant. But Menoncello is something special. He is special. What is he, 22 years old or something? This guy is top 10 players in the world under 22, under 23. Maybe top 5, maybe top 3. Maybe he's the best in the world for his age. Who else is sort of this age ripping it up? I'm going to have to go Menoncello. I'm sorry. I just think the guy is incredible. He is doing it in such a worse team than Tom Jordan or Bundyaki. And I know he's got a fantastic guy outside of him. I just want to say he's fantastic. I have to put him in my player of the tournament, team of the tournament. I think he's incredible. Outside centre, for me, it's between Brex and Hugh Jones. Ollie Lawrence has been in the running as well, but he only replayed 3 games. So sadly for him, he's not going to be in this prestigious team of the tournament. Max Llewellyn came in, did very well for Wales. Who was the other guy? Ringrose and Henschel kind of swapped around. Sorry, I should have mentioned Moafana and Barassi. Moafana, of course, for the inside centre role, he is very, very good, but I'm still going to stick with Menoncello. He is a special player. Barassi, of course, is in the sort of debate along with Hugh Jones and Brex for me. I know Brex is fantastic and he's so good at Menoncello. I'm going to go Hugh Jones though. I just feel like He's had a quiet last game or two, Hugh Jones, but he started off the tournament so well. He's got a load of tries. I think he's been one of Scotland's best players. He's still, even in the Irish loss, really, really key. Really good against England. Yeah, I'm just going to go Hugh Jones. I know he didn't score against Wales. France was a tough one for the whole Scottish team, but I think he's a class act. He's underrated in his defence. He's got try scorer. He creates other things for the other players outside of him in the Scottish team. He's just everywhere on the pitch as well. Brex, he's something special too, but I'm going to go for Hugh Jones. Wings are also a really difficult position. One of them has to be Louis Bielsa. I mean, everyone knows how good he is. He's been around for a good 2 or 3 years now, but it just keeps reminding you this crazy talent he has. He is so quick, and he's also a really intelligent player. Like, his defence is top notch. He's good in the air. He is the all-round winger. He's probably the best winger in the world right now, up there with like a Penno and maybe like a Colby. He is really good at BRA. He goes into my team of the tournament. But who joins him on the other side? Well, for me, it's between 2 players. It's between Tommy Freeman and James Lowe. I don't know who to put. I feel like James Lowe may have been better for the time he's been playing, but Tommy Freeman scored in every single game. I just feel like he's... this is so tough. I'll go with Tommy Freeman. It's the guy I've written down on my little list here of team of the tournament. I think James Lowe has had great moments, but he didn't do loads against Italy other than that one sort of step in. He's obviously missed the big game against France. Tommy Freeman has played every single game. So despite James Lowe's crucial ability in the first couple of games for Ireland against England and of course against Scotland, he was so good. But I'm going to go with Tommy Freeman. I might get a lot of hate in the comments. Give me the hate. Tell me I'm rubbish. Like and subscribe. But I'm going to go with Tommy Freeman. I just think he has to go in. Scoring a try in every single game. All legitimate, of course. He has to go in my team in the tournament. And final position, of course, is fullback. And let's just get this straight out of the way. It is Blair Kinghorn. I think before the tournament, you're talking like Furbank, Stewart, Kinghorn and Keenan for the Lions 15. Furbank sadly got injured for Northampton in January, so he's out the whole tournament. Might even be in December. Stewart, I think, rightly so, is got a drop from the conversation. He is a great player, but he has a few glaring weaknesses. Kinghorn and Keenan don't really have those weaknesses, and Keenan has been good, but Kinghorn is on another level. He's playing for the best club team in the world for Toulouse. To be fair, Keenan plays for the second best club team in the world. But Kinghorn, you see how dangerous he is when he's got the ball in hand, when he receives a ball deep and he's going to run it back. You just think, what's going to happen here? You don't always think that with Keenan. Like, he does have that threat, but Kinghorn he's set this tournament alight for me. And he's kind of made it quite clear that he's the best fullback for a Lions call-up. So yeah, and a starter place. Kinghorn for me is my fullback in a team of the tournament. So overall, we have 5 English players in my team of the tournament. That's the most of any team. You might say there's some bias. I would say that they just deserve it. They deserve it. Obviously, we've got Will Stewart, Maro Itoje, Tom Curry, Finn Smith and Tommy Freeman. I still think they all deserve those positions. The French have 4 in Gross, Kroos, Audrey and Bielsa. I think it's more a testament to the French depth. They're able to switch things around more, whereas maybe England are more reliant on their big players to turn up. But then again, England have rotated a few players as well. So maybe it's just the luck of which positions have really stood out in each team. I've got to quickly count now. We're on 9. I think Ireland have 3, if I'm right, with Dan Sheehan, Gibson Park, and was it just a 2? No, it's just 2 for Ireland. There you go. Dan Sheehan and Gibson Park. So that takes us to 11 players. Scotland have 2 with Kinghorn and Hugh Jones for me. Wales have 1, Dafydd Jenkins and Menoncello 1. So every team does have a player in my team in the tournament, but England come home with the medal with the most players in the 24-hour Rugby J team of the tournament for 2025 Six Nations. So that rounds off my team of the tournament. However, we do need to get into the one other sort of glaring aspect. Player of the tournament. Who is my player of the tournament for the Six Nations in 2025? I'm trying to come up with a short list here. I think the short list has to be Bielsa. Was it 9 tries in the end? Nearly 2 a game? That is ridiculous. I want to put in Tom Curry, because I think Tom Curry has been astounding. And is there anyone else I really want to put in? I think they're the two obvious candidates. Maybe like an Itoje. Yeah, but I'm just going to stick with those two, I think. Between BLBRA and Tom Curry, I'm sorry, I'm going Tom Curry. He was, for me, arguably the best player of the match in every single game he played in. BLBRA had good matches, but he also had some quieter matches where he managed to score. Tom Curry, for me, he's had a true renaissance in his career. Again, not that he was ever bad, but he's just always had injury problems and can never get a run of games, whether it be for England or Sale. And I have to put him in the tournament. I'm sorry, I know this might be English bias, but I have to have him as player of the tournament for me. I can't speak in this video quite clearly. But yeah, do let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Please do like and subscribe, because I've got lots more videos coming up. I'm going to do an overall Six Nations review. I've got PWR vlog coming up hopefully later today. Lots of stuff to come, so please do like and subscribe if you want to see all that. We're going to get into the club game coming up in the next few weeks and months. So we've got Women's Six Nations, so it's all here on this channel. Please do subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.